Hey everyone, Garrett here. What you're about to see is one of two interviews I got to conduct at the Hearthstone Summit, where the Angry Chicken got a sneak peek at Ashes of Outland, Hearthstone's new expansion. This first interview is with Valerie and Breeden. You're about to hear a lot about the development of the Demon Hunter, Hearthstone's first new class. I wasn't able to actually fit myself in the camera frame, so if you're watching this on video, that's why you can't see me. It was just me, and I only had one camera. So, enjoy.
I'm Valerie. I'm a senior narrative designer on Hearthstone. So I'll work on a lot of the stuff for Illidan's prologue with 17.0, as well as other bits and pieces here and there with tavern brawls, flavor text, and so forth.
I'm Breeden. I'm a card designer, so I work on the initial design team. I help shape Demon Hunter, Ashes of Outlands, that sort of thing.
I guess the best place to start would be, how long has the Hearthstone team been secretly working on Demon Hunter? I mean, this is a brand new class for Hearthstone.
I mean, we started it with, the expansion. We're like, so what do we want to do this time? We set up class identity. We set apart, like, these are what each class does. And then we thought, well, what if we added Demon Hunter to that? And really it started with the start of the expansion. We set up the groundwork for creating these class identities, and then we could add in Demon Hunter afterwards. As far as like starting development was like at the start of Ashes of Outlands. So we said, we're going to start with Demon Hunter. What do they do? Well, they're aggressive. They're fast attacking. They're kind of like what you imagine for like Warcraft 3 or Heroes of the Storm, when you see Illidan, he's like attacking a bunch, flipping over, that sort of thing. We wanted to capture that vibe, and what better set to do it in than Ashes of Outlands?
Did the hero power come together relatively painlessly, or was there a lot of iteration before getting to the final design?
There was a lot of iteration. We started with things like, what if they had a resource that, like a brand new resource, what if they didn't have just mana and their hero power was related to that? What if it was 2 mana? What if it was like the 2 mana space, but we wanted them to attack a lot. So we wanted to do like +1 attack. We tried +2 attack. Is that too much? It actually took us a long time to finally settle on 1 attack for the turn, and it costs 1 mana. But we tried other stuff too. It took a while.
Now, what about the new keyword outcast? Did that come out of older effects like Luna triggering a draw based on where the card you played was in your hand?
We've, like you said, we've tried a bunch of different things. Left side of hand, right side of hand. We tried stuff with like top decking. So if you drew the card this turn, it gains a special ability. But this gives it a little bit more flexibility, so we don't have to worry about like, is 6 mana too much? If you drew it this turn, it gets a special ability, but you can't play it. Is there a whole mechanic there? With Outcast, how we have it, so it's the left and rightmost cards in your hand get a bonus. And really it's if you've held on to a card for a really long time, or if it's a card that you just drew, those are usually the two situations that you see it in. And both of those are pretty interesting decisions. And I mean, with Demon Hunter having a bunch of cheap cards, you can shuffle your hand around. Being in the digital space Hearthstone, we can make sure that your hand stays in the right order, whereas maybe a more traditional card game, you could like shuffle them around. But with Hearthstone, since it's the way it is, it was really like hey, we've tried this a bunch of times. What's the cool version of this?
Yeah, at least here at the demo, which has all the cards, actually. Mm-hmm. The 0 mana cost spells for Demon Hunter seem kind of like sleeper power, because it lets you get that card just out of the way in certain scenarios to get cards where you want them to be.
Now, we were shown a roadmap laying out the next year of Hearthstone. Can you talk about the ranked ladder revamp and some of the other teases of Hearthstone's future?
So we are redoing how ranked ladder works. We really like the progression system of how ladder works currently, but there's not a great way of determining like where you are in terms of skill. Like if you're rank 15, you're kind of in the middle of the pack. You're actually doing pretty well, but a lot of people don't recognize that that's like you're a pretty good player if you're rank 15. So by distributing it in like the way that most people are familiar with like bronze, silver, as a bronze or copper, I can never, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond as your 5 leagues, and then legend above that. We don't want to change that. That gives you a little better sense of where you are in the world. And then how we're doing it is every time a new month kicks over and the season restarts, everyone goes back down to bronze 10. And depending on how well you did the previous season, we give you bonus multiplier stars. So if you got to legend, you get 11 extra bonus stars. So every time you win, you get 11 stars. You lose, you only lose 1 star. It'll help get you back up to legend faster. So you still have that progression moment throughout the whole season, but we can also match you on MMR now. So you get better, closer matches the entire time. And you don't have to, this helps out lower level players so they don't get stomped on by new people every time a season resets. It helps more advanced players because then they can just play people that they're evenly matched with and they don't feel like they have to go through the lower ranks that maybe is not as fun for them.
Yeah. And so it's 3 stars for all ranks, and there's like 10 ranks within a rank, right? There's like bronze 10 through 1, silver 10 through 1.
And there's still ranked floors every 5 ranks.
Also at the beginning of, at the beginning of silver and in the middle of silver.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So you still have those moments you can just play around at the ranked floor and do whatever you want. Whenever
memes be dreams.
Yes. Whenever you hit a ranked floor, you lose one of those stars from your multiplier, so you'll accelerate really quickly early on, and then you'll slow down as you approach where you're supposed to be.
Oh, cool. And you don't lose multiplier on a loss. It's just
no.
And that's it.
Yep.
So as you level up, your multiplier starts to get lower and lower as you kind of ascend to where you were before.
Yeah, and it's really great to getting you back to where you were. That way, if you are a person who really likes going on ladder, advancing, making progress, this is going to be easier for you. So you get back to where you were faster, get a bunch of stars, you get that progression, and then you can work your way up as if you want to reach legend.
While we're on the subject of the next standard year, why is Priest being targeted for such a major retooling?
Well, I mean, while we were carving out space for, I guess we can talk about this too on the, but as we were carving out space for Demon Hunter, we kind of were identifying Priest as like, what are they really doing? And they have a mixture of things they're doing. They're fighting on board, but they're also doing like miracle shenanigans with Divine Spirit Inner Fire, like you mentioned, or they're going face with Prophet Velen and Mind Blast or whatever have you. And it felt like they were doing too many different things. It was kind of hard to like give them one thing that they're really, really good at. So our goal with the Priest redesign was to take away all the stuff that doesn't fit in their class identity and then give them tools or improve their kit to make them better at something that we do want them to do. So things like fighting for board. We have cards that give bonus health, not doubling it, but they're like minions that build on minions. So you kind of build a minion focused board, you kind of build up, you take control, and then you run your opponent over. And we took away the pieces that were, I'm going to Prophet Velen and Malygos and smite you in the face for 1 million, right?
Yeah, there seems to be definitely a intentional pullback from direct damage for Priest. And talking about class identity, it makes a lot of sense because it did seem like it cannibalized from Mage quite a bit.
Yeah.
Priest is interesting because they had the healing and the holy side versus the shadow side, right? So with direct damage going away, where are you now kind of leaning into the shadow side? How is shadow manifesting in Priest going forward?
Yeah, it's things like Thought Steal, it's card generation from your opponent's deck, it's destroying minions on board. Like, we can do damage in Priest, it just can't go face. So, or things like Shadow Word Death is now 2 mana instead of 3, which is huge. We can kill minions on board. They can do board wipes. That's kind of how their shadow identity is going to come out.
Now, moving on to unlocking the Demon Hunter, how did you decide on unlocking the Demon Hunter through a single-player prologue?
Because it is our first new class in Hearthstone, it's a really exciting moment for the team, so we were thinking we wanted to celebrate that and really do justice by it by giving, the Demon Hunter kind of a splashy introduction. So I worked with Dave Kosak and brainstorming what those missions should be, how many of them we should have, because as much as we want to roll out the red carpet, we also don't want to delay you too long from getting to play the Demon Hunter, because that's very exciting. But we also, want to teach you about these things, teach you about Demon Claws, the hero power, and also about Outcast and that sort of thing. So by the time you're playing against other players, you feel like you sort of know your way around and you're not totally lost. And, your first experience with Demon Hunter can be a good one. So we went back all the way to the lore. There are like bits and pieces of lore in the novels, in like the Warcraft 3 manual, and we put together kind of a highlight reel of 4 amazing fights that helped define Illidan on his journey to becoming a Demon Hunter.
And what's really great about it is it comes out a week before Demon Hunters get unlocked as like for ladder and everything else. So you can unlock them before everyone else can play them, and then you can just start when he gets unlocked.
I think it's really exciting, just as a game developer, to bring this to life because a lot of these fights you've never been able to play in any Blizzard game before. So the first fight is against the demon Azanoth, And that's where the Warglaves of Azeroth come from. So it was really fun putting that together and, getting to show at least Illidan's version of what happened there. Illidan may or may not be the most reliable narrator. Grain of salt. But according to him, he really rocked it in this fight. But it's also nice because as you start out, Illidan is still a mage in the lore. So you'll be playing as a mage for the very first fight in prologue, and you'll get to see these demons and all their cool demon powers and demon cards and think, just like Illidan, I want to do that too. So after that fight, you'll move on and get to see Illidan make his deal, right, with the demons in this case. He will be trying to impress Xavius. Xavius was the first satyr in Warcraft lore, and he used to be a night elf, but he was sort of upgraded right into the satyr form, which is kind of a strange upgrade, really, when you think about it, because a little scary. But hooves, horns, right?
I really want to know.
Crazy dark power. It's probably worth it. You have to try and impress Xavius by using your new power, Demon Claws, to kill lots and lots of small minions and generally show off your drive and your skill. And then from there, we skip forward a little bit, having acquired your amazing Demon Hunter powers. Too bad about the eyes, they're gone. You'll be fighting against Manaroth, another big lore character, right? Who at this time, Manaroth was leading the demonic invasion on Azeroth. So you sent him back, destroy the Well of Eternity, and then lastly, you'll have a falling out with your brother Malfurion and his teacher Cenarius, the demigod. So you get to fight lots and lots of big names here. Nobody's, like underling number one. It's just all hard hitters, all cool characters with cool abilities that will bring out hopefully the best of you as you become a moody emo demon hunter.